Hello everybody, Hellcrex here, and welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from an Inner Sphere. And today we're going to be talking about the Manticore Heavy Tank. That 60-ton vehicle that's kind of interesting. It tries to do a lot of different things, maybe not successful, but successful at the same time. Alright, the Manta Core. It's a 4.6 moving vehicle, 60 tons, has a fusion engine in it, which makes it interesting, which means you have some space on board. Carries around 13 heat sinks. 10 of those are on the engine, so it carries around 3 extra. And it also has 176 points of armor, which is pretty respectable for a 60-ton vehicle. So it's well armored, and a lot of times it turns into a pillbox long before it ever gets killed. All right. Mobility kills is pretty common with vehicles. Now, weapons. It carries around a PPC and a turret. Well, you got 10 heat sinks free with the fusion engine. Why not? Makes sense to me. It has an SRM-6 in the turret with a ton of ammo in the body. It has an LRM-10 in the turret, okay, with a ton of ammo in the body, and a medium laser on the front. Okay. Well, the only complaint I have about the Manta Core is you have 4 tons wrapped up in a medium laser. Yeah, he's like, well, medium lasers are only a ton. Well, you're using up 3 of those tons for heat sinks because, well, you used up 10 of that for that PPC. So it's kind of ridiculous, I think, to carry around that medium laser. You're better off outfitting yourself with another SRM-6 and, you know, even maybe share that 1 ton of ammo between them, or just an SRM-6 with a ton of other ammo, both in the turret, so you can stack them up in there. And I think that would be a lot better choice than the medium laser. That's just my opinion. Because putting extra heat sinks on a vehicle when you don't have to, when you get more, actually do more damage with the, instead of the 1 medium laser, I'm for the SRM-6. One of the rare occasions where I actually, it's like, hey, give me the SRM-6 instead of the medium laser. Hey, it's crazy, but, you know, it works out that way. Plus, if you have 2 tons of ammo, it's like, hey, what can you do with that extra ton? You can throw smoke out there. Maybe you can throw some infernos. Who knows? You can do all kinds of fun stuff with it. Just don't put Artemis on it. All right, so the Manta Core is kind of a jack of all trades. It's got a lot of good range bands when it comes to weapon systems. Obviously, with the PPC and the LRM-10, you do have some overlap there from 18 to 7, where you got some decent fire effect with it. You're going to be doing some damage. Typically, you're going to be doing about 6 damage with that LRM-10 on average. And then you got the PPC. So between the two of them, you got a good direct fire weapon and an indirect fire weapon. So if you had a lance of these guys, you do have some decent firepower to send down range. Now, when someone gets in close, obviously you got that SRM and your medium laser on the standard position. So you have some overlap there when someone gets in too close. So you can hit them with the medium laser and the SRM if they're in the front arc. But that medium laser is only front arc, so yeah, they have to be out a little bit of ways to make sure they're out front of you. But that's what hopefully you're working on, keeping the armor that direction. Now, it's one of those vehicles that works good in cities, it works good in open terrain, hidden terrain, heavy woods, you name it. It can do the job fairly decently. So it's not a bad little vehicle to take out. And it's under it's a little over 900 battle value. So you can plug it in some places where maybe you don't want to use vehicle or use a vehicle instead of a mech. So there you have it. Or if you're playing one of those games where you're using combined arms, or just plain infantry and vehicle scenarios. So yeah, it can do a job pretty decently. So there you go. That's the Manta Core. Now, I already told you what I would do to it, which is remove the medium laser and give myself a SRM6. Now, that's the one trade-off I would go with right off the bat. Now, there are some different versions of this vehicle. There's a 3055 version, which Lost Tech has been added to it. So you have a PPC being replaced by a large pulse laser. To me, that is a downgrade. Might work good in a city fight, but you know, you're putting pulse weapons, which is more of a high-tech weapon system, on a vehicle, and I'm not a big fan of doing that. Never have been. And then you remove the medium laser and heat sinks for a couple streaks. But, you know, that's 4 tons right there. And the 1 ton of ammo. So you got 2 streak 2s. Okay, so you're with the 2 streak 2s, you're still doing more damage than if you did with just the medium laser. So I'm not against using that. Then they put Artemis fire control system on the SRM and the LRM rack. I know if you buy one for one, you gotta get the other one. And it has ferrofibers on it. But overall, I guess I look at it, it's like you got 2 tons wrapped up in the Artemis system. You know, you could think about taking that LRM-10 and downgrading it to LRM-5s. So you could have 3, 4 LRM-5s on board. That's a possibility. Or even more SRMs instead of streaks. So, yeah, there's all kinds of things you can do with this one. Now there's the LBX version. All right, what you do is come out in 3060. This one upgrades, has an upgrade, has a medium pulse laser, replaces the medium, well, it's 2 streak 2s with a medium pulse laser. Okay, so you got something less distance and less damage. Why? I don't know. And then you mount an LBX-10 on board. All right, and a streak 6. All right, I can get behind a streak 6. Heck, that's another thing you could do. Instead of putting Artemis on board, you could have streak 6s instead. A streak 6. You can go that route. But then again, you're still putting high-tech weapon systems on a vehicle. And they're saying it makes it more effective against battle armor. I don't know about that. It's like when you shotgun in some battle armor and hit them with a streak system, you might get lucky and kill one battle armor. Mostly, all you're going to do is, for the first turn, is soften them up a little bit. You might kill them off in the second turn, but highly unlikely. All right, so we have the C3 Master version. All right. This came out in 3063. Replaces the SRM launcher with a master computer. Okay. All right, I can see that. It also might behoove you to think about looking back at the other versions that have the Artemis on board. It's like get rid of the Artemis and give yourself a C3 Slave. So if you got a master version, you might look at having something that makes use of it. And they also got rid of the large pulse laser in favor of a PPC. Wow. Okay, back to where you started from. Yeah, that makes sense to me. You want something that shoots out at distance, because obviously you don't want your master computer vehicle getting too close. All right, then you got the C3 Slave version. This is developed by Bulldog. It replaces the SRM with a C3 Slave and a Streak 4. Also, again, using the PPC instead of a large pulse laser, and it comes around as 1,000 battle value. All right, So, not bad. Kind of takes a lot in what I was discussing before. All right, then we have the Manta Core EC. This was developed by Clan Burrock. This removes a medium laser, replaces the PPC, the LRM with a enhanced PPC and improved LRM. And it's like early clan design, so it comes out around 1150 battle value. Now you're starting to get expensive because you're throwing clan stuff on there. And then there's the rack version, developed in 3069. This one has a large pulse, replaces a large pulse laser and the LRM launcher with a rack 5 and a target computer. Okay, might work pretty decently. You're doing some, up to 30 damage, so damage output's actually increased. And then you have switching the SR streak launcher for 2 ER medium lasers. All right, you got the 10 heat sinks, 2 ER medium lasers. Makes sense because you got the heat sinks to free. You might as well use them. That's how I look at it. The HPPC version, this comes out in 3074 and during the Jihad. Uses a heavy PPC mated with a target computer as its main firepower. All right, so that's a chunk of power going out there. Has a light fusion engine for enough to take care of the. It has an anti-missile system. Existing missile system has been replaced by an MML-7 and 2 tons of ammo. So obviously, with an MML, you want the extra tonnage, so at least 2 tons, so you have 2 different weapon systems, basically short and long. You can shoot long range or have the HE short range. That could be interesting, having a heavy PPC and a target computer, because you're using the target computer to make up for the heavy PPC. So, and if you do hit, man, that's a chunk of damage done. So that was something to think about right there. And then we got the Ballista, a custom variant. This one has heavy ferrofibrous armor, case, combat vehicle escape pod, protect the crew, has a 240 XL engine, supercharger, C3 slave, and it has a hyper velocity AC5, extended range LRM 10s. Hey, and it comes out a little over 1100 battle value. So it's got some interesting stuff to protect the crew, especially if you're playing campaigns. And you got the C3 on board and then you got all long range equipment on board this thing, so it can reach out and touch people at long range. So there, if you're running like a scout Jenner or something of that nature, so a mech in the network, hey, it can fly through the area and make good use of that C3 system. So yeah, there's a few different ones out there, and to be honest, just other than minor tweaking to the Manta Core, depending on what area you're in. If you really wanted to, it's like in the 30, when the ferrofibrous armor comes around, you could throw ferrofibrous armor and upgrade the armor package on it. You could get rid of that medium laser for another SRM-6. There's that. Or even, heck, you could throw a bunch of machine guns on it. SRM-2s with Infernos. Yeah, the sky's kind of limit on this one. So, there you go. That is the Manta Core. Well worth it. Well worth taking a few, especially in certain games when you're playing nothing but vehicles. Well worth running it out there and see what sticks. Alright, so that's the Manta Core. Hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe. Share with your friends. And we'll see you in the next one. All cracks out.